All right, so we learned about tangent, which was opposite over adjacent. And now we're going to learn the other two buttons on your calculator, okay, which are right next to tan, the sine and the cosine. So you should see them all in one row. See them there? Okay. So you're going to find today very similar to yesterday, going over tangent. It's just the setup of the fraction is different. Okay. With sine, it's going to be the opposite side over the hypotenuse. Okay. So if we are looking at this picture right here, if we've got angle x that we're focusing on, what would we have for opposite over hypotenuse? What is the opposite side of x? 3. Hypotenuse? 5. Okay, remember, if you draw an arrow coming from the angle, it always points at the opposite side. All right, what if we're looking at angle y? What is the opposite side of y? 4 over the hypotenuse? 5. Okay. Is your triangle different than mine? No, okay. Good, I updated the notes. All right, so cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. All right, so looking at our picture here, if we're looking at cosine r, we're looking at this angle up here, we want adjacent. What's adjacent to that? And the hypotenuse, 13. If we're looking at angle T over here on the right, adjacent is hypotenuse, 13. Okay? Now, we have tan, we have sine, and we have cosine. Here's how we're going to remember which ones go with which. We have this acronym right here, SOHCAHTOA. It's also over here on the side board above this whiteboard, and it will always be up there, and it always has been up there. Okay? What do you think this acronym stands for? What do each of the letters mean? What's these first three? Sine. Opposite over hypotenuse. What does this one stand for? Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. This one's yesterday's. What is this one going to be? Tangent is over adjacent. So that tells you what order the fraction goes in as well. Okay, so looking over here, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. SOHCAHTOA. All right. So they're not going to tell you which button to use. You're just going to have to figure out, well, what two sides did they give me? So let's look at this problem. We're going to try to figure out how high the kite is flying. So here's our variable that we're trying to figure out how high it is off the ground or from this person's hand. Okay, we know that the rope is 75 feet long. So here's how we figure out which button to use. They're always going to give you an angle to focus on. We have to figure out what two sides have something written on them. Okay, so what would we label on this side right here? This is the hypotenuse. What is this side compared to angle 40 right here? We have opposite. So now we look up here at our acronym and we say, okay, which one has H and O in it? The first one does, sine. Okay, so that means that's what we're going to use. Sine. What always comes here? The angle. And this tells us what order to go in, opposite over hypotenuse. So what is this going to be? How do we solve these? Multiply by that denominator. 75 sine 40 equals x. There's no more solving to do because x is by itself. So how long is that x value? Yes. 48.2. Questions? Okay, very similar to yesterday. So we're just going to try a couple of these. We're going to go a little bit quicker than yesterday because we kind of know what we're doing now. We just have to figure out which button to use. So look in here. What two sides do we have? What is this one? Opposite and hypotenuse. So we're using sine. We got sine of our angle. What order is this going in? Opposite over hypotenuse. We multiply by x. So now we have x sine 31 equals 12. But we aren't done on this one yet. Got to get x by itself. Yep. Good guess, but no. What should we do to both sides? Yeah, we got to divide by that. So this is what we put in the calculator. 12 divided by sine 31. Somebody tell me what that is. How much?
23.3.
Okay. Looking here. We've got our angle right here. What two sides do we have? Yep. Which one has adjacent and hypotenuse? The one in the middle. That means we're using cosine. We still put the angle here. What order should these go in? Okay, we'll solve it the same way, multiplying by that denominator. Oops. What do we get? Questions? Two more. Almost done. What two sides do we have? What's this one? This one? So what are we using? Cosine. Cosine 70. What order? I heard both. Which one is it? If we're looking at SOHCAHTOA, it tells us what order to put this in. The A is going to come first. So we've got 6. We got hypotenuse on the bottom. Okay. We multiply by x. And then what? To our division. Somebody tell me what we get. 17 point what? Pretty simple. Do you know that you guys know how to do trigonometry now? That's what we just learned. You guys are trig pros. All right, so which two sides do we have? We have hypotenuse and we have opposite. So this one is a what? It's not a sin, it's sine. There's no sins in math except dividing by 0. Okay, what should go here? By the way, sine is short for sine. So that's why it's pronounced sine. All right, what order should this go in? We multiply by 6. Somebody tell me what we get. How long is x? 2.1. All right, on this last slide, when we come to this, all I want you to do is this part right here. We're not solving it. We're not going beyond that step. We're just setting up the equation. Because I feel like once we get that, you all know how to multiply by the denominator, figure out all that stuff. The hard part is picking the right one. So I'm actually going to want 7 volunteers to come up and write just the first equation. You can pick one. Go for it. You can do another one when he's done. Make sure it's legible. So you should all be filling in your own notes, trying to do these on your own. So all I want is the initial equation. Make sure you got your equal sign in there. Okay. We'll just fix this quick here. Need 5 more brave souls. Yep. First 3 are right. Need 4 more people, new people. Beautiful. 3 more. Okay, 2 more brave souls. One more brave soul. Who's going to do the last one? Somebody brand new. Everyone's been right so far. Yes. No pressure. Perfect. I think you guys understand this. Any questions?